Oh my gosh, I'm in this thing called a diversity workshop, and I'm going to learn here that somehow that I'm a bad person and I'm discriminating against everybody. I think for us to be able to say, well, let's think about this a little bit differently, because this is really about how your brain works, right? We're all biased because our brains have to process a lot of information. We
Sure.
have to categorize. We have to make decisions all the time. We can't be consciously making decisions all the time. So, bias is just something that's a part of being human. And what we really are helping people to do is to control for the fact that they're human.
Think about that you're hiring somebody to build your next biggest and greatest project. And you sit down and the first thing you see on the interview is that, oh wow, they went to the same university alma mater that I did. And all of a sudden you had this connection, you had this affinity. And that interview is so much better than the one that you didn't walk in with that affinity and realize. But if you knew beforehand,
Right.
Hey, I saw this on it. I know I have a bias for those that went to the same alma mater as me. You can have a more objective approach to that decision. So, because the whole goal really is to bring in the best and the brightest, not those who you have the most affinity with, right?
Absolutely.
Diversity and inclusion in the past was about the right thing to do in compliance.
What's happened more recently is this conversation has changed, and it's changed in a couple of ways. One is that there's an increasing focus on the importance of diversity and inclusion to the business.
We have a more inclusive culture, and you have a more diverse culture. You have your innovations higher, your productivity's higher, your morale's higher. McKinsey just came out with a study that said those companies that focus on reducing bias lead to other companies who do not by a full 7 percentage points on average. And there's study after study that shows when diversity and inclusion are at the table, your company has a competitive advantage. Has a competitive advantage with your talent, has a competitive advantage with your marketplace, and it really propels you forward.
Another way that it's changed is that we focus on something called unconscious bias. And unconscious bias is about how our brains work. And the question isn't anymore about whether we're biased. The question is really about how do we choose to manage that.
In the book, in the Inclusion Dividend, we provide a lot of stats and we provide a lot of stories, ways in which companies have been able to leverage D&I. And this book is really to provide you the guidance and the pathway for you to find your inclusion dividend. That's what this is all about. It's going to be unique, it's going to be yours. So what is your inclusion dividend?